Well, everyone, thank you for joining. My name is Doug Nyheisel. I'm with ATC. I'm the team lead of our consulting group here. You'll see some other familiar names from ATC on the call as well: Alex Coley, Cameron Laughlin, and Ryan Satzker. We've got Steve and Shannon on from RingCentral. Again, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day and joining us. Today, we're going to be covering some new features and things that are on the roadmap with RingCentral, some other value adds that you guys might be able to take advantage of from RingCentral Rooms and Push to Talk and RingSense AI. I know a lot of people are really interested right now in AI and what it can do for your business and how you collaborate internally and externally with your clients and how you can be more efficient through automation. A lot of you on the call are current RingCentral clients and using RingCentral. Some of you have been using RingCentral for years. Some of you are fairly new to RingCentral. But by now, everyone on the call should be familiar with the RingCentral MVP, what it was previously called, messaging, video, and phone platform, that soft phone application that you can download on your laptop, on your cell phone. And of course, some of you have desk phones with RingCentral as well. But we're not going to cover a ton regarding the RingCentral, what's called an EX now product, that application that you're using today, because you already know it. We're going to take it a step further and show you some things that you may not be familiar with that RingCentral has to offer that you could leverage in your business. So again, really appreciate you all joining. We will be doing a giveaway, a random drawing here at the end of the webinar. So please stay on. Anybody in attendance, we'll do a random draw, and we'll be giving away a pair of Beats headphones. And just a heads up, this is a two-part series. So you'll see another invite come out. The next webinar is going to be on the 16th of July. So just about a month from today. We'll be covering CX, basically contact center with RingCentral and that customer experience. So really looking forward to it. Hope we can have all of you in attendance for that one as well. But without further ado, I will go ahead and hand it over to Steve Frame. Steve's the Senior Sales Enablement Manager for Learning and Enablement at RingCentral. Take it away, Steve.
Hey, thanks, Doug. Appreciate that. And happy to be with everybody here today. I do want to talk about some of the new products that are out there and knowing that a lot of people are using RingCentral today, which is fantastic. And I know we have a few people on the call that maybe thinking about, transition into UCaaS in cloud and contact center, which we'll cover on the next call. So I want to start with just a tiny little context and background for those of you, especially that use RingCentral. For myself, I started with the company almost 5 years ago. I worked for Verizon for I'm going to date myself, for about 22 years. So when I started with RingCentral, one of the things that stood out to me immediately, I had no idea this company started in 1999. And this was born into the cloud from the get-go. Voice over IP at the time, and then straight into cloud PBX and phone system. But I think one of the things that's beneficial for our end users like you and our customers out there is really understanding that technology that is evolving, and we're going to talk about some of that evolving technology today. And for us at RingCentral, it started for a big part with our AI platform back in 2020. So about 4.5 years ago, we purchased a company called DeepEffects and developed our own native AI platform specifically to RingCentral, so it's not third party. And so we'll talk about some of that, why that's important when it comes to security as well, and what customers are getting from that, what information they're getting from that. But I know from talking to partners out there and talking to customers out there, one of the things they look for is a company that continues to evolve and continues to provide additional solutions that's going to be beneficial for them. So it really is something that we've seen a big uptick with now, and especially in this AI world. And one of the questions that I get all the time is, well, what separates your AI from anybody else? And I'll be honest, there's a lot of similarities, right? I know a lot of you are using our message, video, and phone application today. A lot of players in the field have very similar products that do very similar things. The thing that I really strongly believe when talking to customers and talking to partners that are selling us to customers and building that trust, it's what's under the hood. When you're buying a truck out there, F-150 might look fantastic. The GMC looks great. Love the Toyota. At the end of the day, you're popping the hood. Which one's the most reliable? Which one's going to get you the most miles? Which one is going to be something that you have to not worry about maintenance? And that's the big benefit, hopefully, that you're feeling with RingCentral is the reliability of our 5.9 SLA, which is about 72 seconds of downtime a quarter. In the last 2 quarters, we actually hit 6.9s, which is about 32 seconds. So when it comes to RingCentral, the biggest differentiator before we get into product for us is it's the engine that it's built upon. It's what's running that product. And as we talk about everything today, and this kind of goes back to that first slide I looked at, that big looping slide. There's a lot going on here. I'm not going to go through. This is kind of a busy slide, but what I do want to point out, if you look at just that outer part of the rainbow, it's not just a phone system. It's not just a messaging system. It's not just a video system. What companies are finding today is unification of communication with one platform. So whether that be a contact center solution that we're going to talk about on the next webinar, video, messaging, phone, I'll talk about push to talk, rooms that can be set up in offices, companies that can utilize one company to do that, not only save a lot of money, they just save a lot of headache as well from an administrative standpoint. I got a friend that as a CFO that took over a small business. There was, I think, a couple hundred people in the company, so kind of a mid-market small, and he called me right away and he goes, we're all over the map. My sales reps are using Teams for messaging. People internally are using a different system. I have people using different video solutions. We need consolidations. We need everything on one platform just to make it easy for us to communicate internally and externally. And that's really what we want to talk about when it comes to, hey, these are a lot of the new solutions out there today. And this is what's going to help you moving forward. So let's jump into some of the new stuff that's coming out. And it does start with AI, as Doug mentioned. And what I'm finding when I talk to a lot of customers out there and a lot of partners like ATC out there as well, is really understanding what AI actually does and what it is. There's a lot of fear around it, and I understand that. A lot of people are scared, hey, this is going to replace human jobs. AI is going to take over the world. It's not Skynet and Terminator, but some people have seen the movies and, sometimes they feel like, hey, AI is this self-learning program that's, going to replace human beings. AI is still programmed by human beings. It is a virtual playbook that we have to tell it what to do. But what AI really does for businesses that is so beneficial, it's giving you information that you didn't have before. And the security with that, it's information that doesn't get shared outside to marketing companies, outside of your company, outside of that conversation with whatever customer you may be working with. It's information that's going to help you look at, and we'll take a few minutes to kind of go through it, what the customer's needs are, what your employees' needs are, how you onboard much smoothly or much quicker today, how you can manage and coach so much easier. So AI is actually going to allow businesses to be more profitable because it's really information. And we know in sales and most businesses, AI is information that is going to help us make the right decisions. So I just want to make sure that we kind of level set that. Sure, most of you already know that AI, but I think it's important to kind of talk about, what AI really does. So I mentioned in 2020, we purchased that company DeepEffects, and we started developing our own native AI platform. And that's really important to have a native AI platform. It's not a third party out there. So none of the information is being shared. It's all internally within you and RingCentral. And this platform is called RingSense. Now, this is really important because if you go to our website, I know it's alphabet soup sometimes. There's so many products. There's RingSense for EX. There's RingSense for CX. There's RingSense for sales. Everything in there has RingSense in front of it now. RingSense on its own is not a product. It's just AI that we plug into different solutions, whether that be internal communications for company, external communications through our contact center, through our webinar platform. RingSense is across the board something that gives more AI flavor to all our different products. I think that's why this picture is kind of, to me, represents that. If you look at all the cones, it's the same flavor. They're all waffle cones. The ice cream is the products that we put on top of it. So for those of you today that are using what we used to call MVP, we are now calling RingEX. And with RingEX, the one reason we named or did a naming convention, we want people to understand this is really geared toward employee experience, the message and video and the phone communication that you use internally today. But now what's happening with that RingSense platform and what's going to be coming for you and for those that use this is a lot more AI capabilities that you're going to see that you can take advantage of. And it's still on that same 5.9 platform. It's still unifying the communications within your companies. As Doug mentioned, I'm heading to the Rockies game after this. I can continue to work on my smartphone. I can look at my MVP application, which is now RingEX. I can still get my work calls forwarded to my, my smartphone through my work number. I'm not tied to my desk phone. So it still gives us all those advantages. So let's kind of real quickly show you some of the upgrades that's coming for you on RingEX. But I want to start with just overall, because if you've never seen this before, and I won't go deep into this because most of you use this, but I know there's some folks on the call that may not use RingCentral today. This is just a snapshot of what that application looks like. So this could be on my PC, this could be on my laptop, my smartphone, my tablet, whatever. I just still have that ability to utilize messaging on the left, group messaging, switch it to a phone call, video call. The great thing I find about the application is there's no file size limit. So if I'm in an industry where I'm sharing heavy videos, heavy pictures, and I can send this to a customer out there, I can still utilize this application to do that. So just a very high level, because I know a lot of you use this, so I won't go too deep into this, but let me touch on a few things that you might not be taking advantage of and what's coming. This is already here today. This is a really cool feature. And when I talk to customers, a lot of them don't even know this exists. So I'm using that RingEX application, a message, video, and phone, and I'm running a meeting. And I go down to the bottom and I can record the meeting. I can go back then, and from that recording, I just don't get a full summary or listen to it from an audio standpoint. I can actually tune in and break it down in small points. So starting on the bottom left, if you look at those blue bars, I can kind of highlight like, oh, this is where Doug's talking. I want to listen to what Doug's talking about. Over here down might be where Shannon's talking, and I want to hear what Shannon has to say. I can search for keywords that might have been said during the meeting. I can even go up top and click on highlights. So instead of a full transcript, it'll break it down more like a Cliff Note way that we probably use during school that will give me an update on this meeting. This is an awesome tool. You already have this today in your application. If you're on vacation for 2 weeks and you come back and the meetings are recorded, you have the ability to go in there and get this and catch up without having to listen. Nobody does for meetings all day long that they might have missed. So really cool stuff. But this is what's coming starting in July. And this is really that RingSense platform that I mentioned infused into RingEX. These are things that you're going to be able to take advantage of. So one of the things that I think is probably the best feature is called real-time smart notes. It also might be referred to as AI notes. What this does at the end of a call. So you're using your application today with RingCentral. At the end of the call, it's going to summarize it into 4 categories: keynotes, key decisions, questions asked, next steps. So it's kind of like an outline that you can download, you can send out to other people on the call as well. For me, I don't know, I'm going to show this. I have this notebook here with terrible handwriting. And if I'm in a meeting and I'm taking notes and 2 weeks later I have a follow-up, I'm flipping through to try to find my notes. And sometimes for me, my notes might not even make sense. This is a very accurate way for our AI to take advantage of that within RingEX and understand, hey, this is what you talked about. This is what's coming next. So cool stuff here. So you can file that. So for every meeting that you have, really help you organize within your business. Post-call highlights are very similar to what I just showed, so I'm going to skip that with that video aspect. But AI Writer is also something that's really cool. And I know, Shannon, we were talking about this before we jumped on the call. I compose a message. I then have the AI Writer customize that message, and I can say, make it more professional, make it more personable, and the AI will go ahead and switch that message to make sure that it's more professional sounding. Maybe it's a little more personal sounding, like I mentioned as well. But just really cool stuff, and it will learn from my speech pattern as well of what I'm talking about. So the AI Writer, another great feature that's coming for those of you using the application. And then I will say the last one, which is going to be very helpful for you finding information, is GPT style search. So today we have message, video, phone in that application. If I want to search for a keyword with this AI now infused, it'll search from all three platforms of communication. It'll pull from phone calls, video calls, messaging, and pull my keywords and give me the conversations that I've had from that. So again, very, I would say, rich, powerful stuff that you're going to be able to use. So this is all in beta right now. So we have people testing this. This ends June 30th. So reach back to Doug, ATC. We'll update them as well come July, how we're going to implement this within our packages. If there's going to be, it's going to be included in, advanced or ultra, or if it's, some of these might be add-ons. We will know that come July, but this is just some of the future that's coming within that application that you're going to be able to really take advantage of to simplify what you do for your job. Shannon,
Hey,
anything you
Steve.
want to add?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steve, I just wanted to open it up. If anybody on the call has any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. We'd love to hear from you. But in addition to what Steve was saying before, we are in beta, and actually a lot of us here at RingCentral are beta testing this application. And it's at first I was kind of a little hesitant because I said, oh my gosh, what is this? What does it do for me? And now, as I start to use the Improve with AI feature on my sentences, I sound more professional, and have just a better, messaging cadence with whoever I'm sending messages to. But in addition to that, there's also a translation feature. So if
Yes.
you're communicating with someone, who speaks maybe a different language, maybe it's Spanish, German, Chinese even, you can actually translate your sentence, for that specific language. And we will be adding languages as the product progresses, but the most common ones are available today. So just wanted to mention that, Steve, that translation and is great, and that AI writer is phenomenal too. So really great stuff. To everybody here on the call. Take advantage of it because it's truly spectacular once you get your hands on it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, the translation. In fact, Shannon, we're using a product. I'll talk about it here in a minute. You're on RingCentral webinar right now. This is a webinar product that we've launched that has a lot of AI capabilities, and translation is one of them. So if I'm in a call and someone's asking me questions and they're from a foreign country, it's going to translate it into my language and back and forth. So it just, easy stuff, cool stuff, I think, to make it do business, especially, we're a global economy. So make it easier to communicate with those inside and outside of the US. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, because we're going to talk about RingCX on the next call. And I do want to mention that because before I get into sales, before we got on the call, I know, Cameron, we were talking about a good sale that you had here for ATC, but RingCX is our own native contact center, which is really used for a customer experience when people want to call in or dial in digitally through social media, any way they want to contact a company to make it easy for companies to do business. And when we think about contact center in general, a lot of times our brains go to, I don't have a company that has a massive floor of 500 people in cubicles answering phone calls. I think for me, I know when I started in my first job, that was one of my jobs out of college, right? So answering phones, making calls, people everywhere doing that. That's not what contact center is. It can be a small, medium and business or medium business up to an enterprise business of how you just interact with customers. Now, RingSense for sales is similar in a way, but this application that we have in this specific product is really geared for how you interact with customers out there today that you're doing business with. And it doesn't just have to be from a sales perspective, but it also can be from, for example, there was a law firm that purchased this because they wanted the ability to understand what their representatives were talking about on the phone with potential clients and get that data that we're talking about with AI to help make them more successful. So it's really, again, it goes back to, it's a virtual playbook that integrates with Salesforce, Zendesk. There's more CRM applications that are coming that gives you more deal intelligence throughout transactions that are happening from the end user to the customer user. And I'm going to show you a screenshot of that here in a minute. And there's a couple things for me when showing this to customers and when I've seen our engineers demo this that always just kind of blow me away of where we're going and how easy it is for companies to do business. And this is the slide I think that really kind of speaks to that. So one of the things that is great with RingSense for sales, no matter what your vertical is, so if you're in retail, manufacturing, automotive, law, sales, there's an entire kind of a drop-down playbook that will automatically implement really kind of a guideline and a standard of how this automation is going to work, how it's going to monitor calls, what it's going to search for. But then I can personalize it. We call those trackers. So if I'm in insurance, for my tracker, I can go in there and put Progressive, AAA, whoever else, Geico, whatever I want to see. So when I have a customer talking to my representative and that topic comes up, it'll flag that and it'll help my representative drive the conversation with bringing up pre-questions that are going to be asked. But at the same time, it's given me as a leader of this company information of how many times my competition is brought up and what are they talking about with my competition. So I'm not really searching for that needle in the haystack. I'm able to zone in more on this is what's happening with my reps. They're making, 70 calls a day. I don't have to listen to all of them. And if you look at the top right, so that's we call it the big picture view for leaders. So these are going to be things, I'm sorry, I can't zoom in, but on the top of that graph is going to be the different topics that I want to know about. And the left side is going to be my representatives that are talking and how many times that's brought up. So I'm getting data on, okay, there's a lot of talk around pricing and this person and this competition. Maybe I do need to talk to my marketing team about how we're selling value. Maybe this is advertisement. Maybe it's not from our sales team. So it'll help out a company from a holistic standpoint to understand where we're hurting and where we're winning. And this is the really cool part with this. And I would encourage you to circle back with Doug. We could definitely set up a demo of this. This is, to me, the wow factor. I can go in on each representative and look at wins, deals that are won and deals that are lost. And it'll break it down as to why they're winning and why they're losing. And there's certain skills that it'll focus on. Are they asking questions? Are they listening? What's their patience like? Are they over talking the customer on the phone? What are the questions that they're asking? So Shannon's winning all these deals, and Shannon's great at patience and asking questions. I'm terrible in all these deals. I don't listen and I don't ask any questions. So from a coaching standpoint, it allows companies to understand this is the area we need to focus on with training when we onboard our employees, get them quicker to the front line to work, and at the same time, the skill sets that we need to be successful. And then back to my original point, what information is being asked from customers? Is it competition? Is it pricing? Is it contract length? A lot of things that I can look at from a leadership standpoint to make solid business decisions. RingSense for Sales has been, I would say, a very powerful tool. It's stickers. I will tell you, sticker price is 60 a user on this. And a lot of companies feel like that's very beneficial. Obviously, we can work with that. But for that price, for information that it gives and the data and what companies can decide from that are really helping companies evolve. Again, this goes back to AI, you know, all over. This is just information. We program it, what we want to hear, what we want to learn, but then at the same time, it's going to guide that rep, the questions we want them to ask, the data that we want to gather. So, Shannon, before I get into webinar, anything you want to add to RingSense for Sales?
No, I mean, I think you covered it pretty well, Steve. You know, as far as the coaching capabilities, we've seen a lot of customers take advantage of those tools, right? You know, in an environment where maybe there's a person within your organization who's doing very well on calls, very positive and getting good results, and maybe there's a team member who is not. You know, you can use RingSense to identify, you know, great calls and bad calls, right, from a coaching perspective. So the customers are using that to say, hey, here's an example of a really great call that one of our representatives had, and use that as a tool to improve the rest of the team. So the benefits of this product are just endless. Definitely, you know, get with the team and book a demo, because it's definitely well worth your time to invest in this product and take a look at it.
You know, and thanks for mentioning that, because that reminded me of something I want to go back to. Talked about one platform using a communication across the board. When I have RingSense for Sales, and now we're looking back at what, you know, our RingEX application that we use internally, what will happen for me as an employee? On the left-hand side there, you're going to have an icon for RingSense for Sales. It's integrated within this application. So from a company standpoint and from an employee standpoint, I'm not bouncing around from one place to another. I'm using this to talk to people internally, and then that RingSense for Sales, I can make those business calls and I can access that right here from this application. What is coming, and we'll talk about this on our next event with RingCX, same thing is going to happen. So when I have a contact center employee or someone that's working with customers that are having issues or problems, that's also going to be integrated straight into this application. So you're going to see an icon that's built in for both, which just makes it so much easier for people to communicate and for employees to do their job without bouncing around from one application to another. Forgive me for flipping through here. I do want to talk about a couple more things, but before we do our giveaway, and I toss it back to Doug. So we're using RingCentral Webinar today. So for those of you that might have been with RingCentral for a while, and remember back to that timeline, when I started, we had a partnership with Zoom, and that's who we used for our webinar platform. Since then, we had now launched RingCentral Video and then RingCentral Webinar over the past year, which is our own native platform that we have today. Knowing that, and I'm sure all of you are probably on virtual calls the majority of your time, so we do know the need for this. It's, you know, saving time, cost, and travel, and the ability to interact face to face. So what's some of the biggest differentiators that we have with one platform compared to another platform? Well, I'll go back to the SLAs, the trust, the reliability. I always start there. Now with our RingSense and our AI infusion, there's a lot of cool things now that we can do within this platform. One of the things that we already mentioned was the translation aspect. So if people are asking questions in Q&A, I have that ability to translate languages. Another thing that's really cool with AI that we can do is I can pre-program answers. Because I'm sure you've all done presentations and you probably get the same two questions. Can I get a copy of the deck? And what's the pricing on this? So things like that, we can pre-program that when it comes in, we have AI answering those things. Another thing that Shannon mentioned, hey, I got to put out an invite for this and I just have a writer's block. So I just put the topic in AI webinar and it's going to generate for me a a topic, a introduction that I can send out to everybody. And I think one of the biggest things overall, at least for me, coming into the company, little 5 years, 4.5 years ago, was how easy it was to use for an end user as well. I know I use it with my friends all the time for trivia. They don't have to download everything. I just send them a link. They click it, they're logged in. Very easy. And now with webinar, a lot of the functionalities that other companies have are built in. So breakout rooms, polling, whiteboarding, Q&A, and the price point's really good, as you can see on the right-hand side as well. So that goes a long way. I focus on this for companies and for businesses. Hey, if you're using our message, video, and phone, and you're using our video for internal meetings, that's great. This to me is something that's really good if you're meeting with a lot of external customers and having events. RingCentral Webinar is going to be a product that's really going to help you not just plan the events, run the events efficiently, and for those that aren't using RingCentral, very simple for them to log in as well. Well,
And Steve,
go for
just a couple of comments for the people on the call. Our webinar platform starts at 500 participants and scales to 10,000 participants. And we do have two aspects of the webinar. One is the marketing aspect, which integrates with top marketing, software that's out there. I know Marketo is one of them, and we also have an all hands part of the webinar as well. So, which is what we're demoing today. But just know that the webinar is scalable for participants and scalable for what you want to create it for.
Absolutely. Yep. Good add-on. Thanks, Shannon. Couple more things here. We'll get the headset. I don't know. I told you my background at Verizon. When I started way back in the day, slinging phones at a young age, the thing that always was hard to compete against was that Nextel chirp. And I'm sure you guys all remember that. But it drove me nuts because I hated people walking around in public, on their speakerphone having conversations. But it was a big thing. Push to talk, which we called that back in the day with Nextel, was huge. Well, we're turning the clock back and we're bringing it back. But I will tell you where I have seen a lot of success with this. So first of all, push to talk is what we're calling frontline workers. And I want you to think of industries where you have, or your businesses, a lot of people in the field, people in the back office. And one of the roadblocks might be, I'm waiting for a call back, or I'm waiting for a text, or I'm waiting for a message. And push to talk it's $5 a user. It's cheap. It's a good value. I've seen this sold in retail, manufacturing. I was in Seattle. It was huge on the docks. And the workers have our RingCentral application, which we've looked at, and push to talk is built into that application. So instead of just placing a phone call, I just click on the push to talk app, and you can see that here on the left hand side. It's at the very bottom. It says push to talk. So hey, I'm out there. I need to know if I have. Let me say we demoed this at Home Depot, for example, and that's where we kind of did our our trial run with it, and was very successful. Someone at Home Depot, they have a worker on the floor that can talk to somebody in the back to see, hey, do we have this product in stock? I can't find it. Yes, it works. But, it works across the board. Hospitals, it's a lot of places, education, that it's coming in. But it's a really, really rich feature that the biggest benefit from the old Nextel days, I will say for myself that I've seen in my history, is I can share video. And I can go live on video with push to talk. I couldn't do that back then. So if I'm out in the field somewhere and I'm a field worker and I'm using push to talk and I'm talking to somebody internally, I'm trying to describe something and they don't understand what I'm saying, I flip it to a video call and I can show them live what I'm talking about. So those of you that have businesses like that have that need, real estate as well as another one, it's a great feature that I feel we underplay a little bit because the cost is pretty low for that ability to communicate within the company and set up groups or whatever you need. So again, just something else that I know Doug can show you just to kind of introduce that, something that you're interested in to see how it works. You're running off a good platform and you're running off the ability to be mobile and use push to talk anywhere that you are. The last thing I want to mention here is something that we have for those in offices. It's our kind of our office solution. And again, it goes back to, for me, using a company that can do everything instead of piecing together different companies, different contracts. How do I set up a meeting room where I have my video bar, I have my audio, I have my phone system, my visual, everything's working off one simple platform in a meeting space environment. And there's a lot of great stuff that it can do out there for RingCentral when it comes to meeting space. And it is really the collaboration of phone, video, messaging all into one. So, I'm not working with different companies to kind of piecemeal stuff together internally within my office. I can still utilize just one phone, not have to worry about that on-premises system, paying for all that hardware upgrade, still utilizing the cloud, which is going to be a lot cheaper than having somebody walking around with a solder iron and trying to fix some of the equipment that they have there in a room. Just so you know, for those of you that are in office today and you're like, hey, I'd like to set up a collaborative meeting room that I can really utilize for virtual meetings. And the cool thing with some of these cameras, they follow you around as you talk, which I love that. So if you have multiple people in a room, the camera's going to focus on that person talking, which is a simple but great feature. But more importantly, what companies are using today, I don't want to replace all the equipment that I have. I'm using Poly, I have Poly phone system, maybe I have Yealink, Jabra headsets, Logitech. So we have the ability to integrate with, because we have an open API platform, so it's an open platform, so we can integrate with the hardware that's out there. So if you're looking to set up a good conference room to run bigger meetings that you can do virtually and internally, have that ability to help you do that with RingCentral Rooms, working with Mac and PC and all the appliances that I focused on here as well. With that being said, I think we're doing good on time. We're a little ahead, so we'll give you a little time back in the day, which is cool. But I know we got a giveaway to do. But Doug, before we do that, if there's any closing words, and I don't know if Shannon or you are.
Well, actually, Steve, we wanted to just touch quick on some of the SMS enhancements that are coming to the platform.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And I apologize for that. Yes, I should have
That's
said
okay.
that. Yeah. So one of the things that's cool that's coming, I can mention a few. Some of these are NDA, but I'm going to break the rules today and mention a few of these. So one of the cool things that Shannon was talking about, when I go to the Rockies game after this, and I take my phone, and most of you know this that use RingCentral, if I get a phone call today and it's coming to my work phone, it's not coming to my personal phone. It's coming to my phone, but it's coming in under my work number, not my personal number, right? So it differentiates between the two. But we do have enhancements now to the SMS capabilities that I can do from my work number. Some of the things that are great are automatic replies. I can also do notification scheduling now through SMS, and not in the application, but just directly from my number. Another thing that's going to be great, and Shannon, we talked about this today. You've had people ask you about this, shared box, so I can include more of a group text, which I can do from the application. That I can do today, but now I can do that specifically just from my phone number if I'm not using the app as well. And that's something that a lot of people are looking for. And this is all on the roadmap. This is coming next quarter, hopefully July or August. And there's a few more things with SMS that's going to be expanding out there, specifically when it comes to working from my work number. Shannon, anything else you want to add to that one? Because I know you can mention you talked to your brother about it, and that was a big deal.
Yeah. No, guys, the shared inbox is a big thing. My brother owns an insurance company, and he's been asking me for a while. He's like, when is RingCentral going to come out with an SMS shared inbox feature? And I was kind of like, huh? And he said he's got about 5 or 6 people that monitor the text messages that come in from the company, and he wants them to be able to answer those text messages. So definitely see the application, and I'm excited to tell my brother that we are coming out with that feature, and I got to get him over to RingCentral. That's going to be a priority for me. So excited to see the features coming out.
Awesome.
So all right,
Doug,
I think we're ready.
I have to answer this question before I hand it back to you. It's from Anonymous, which I appreciate. and this is why I'm laughing. Does Steve go to the Rockies game after every webinar?
Oh, I love it.
So no, because the Rockies are probably the worst team in baseball. So I did go to the game Monday just because my buddy was in town. He's a big Dodger fan. I'm not a Dodger fan. But this is a work event today. So yeah.
Sure.
I wish I could. I mean, I wish I could go to the Rockies game after every webinar, but no, I don't. Yeah.
Would be nice.
Yeah. Would
Still
be
got to
great.
make it out there. But
Yeah.
thanks, Steve. Thank you, Shannon. If anybody has any final questions, go ahead and drop them in the Q&A. Really appreciate Steve giving the intro on a lot of these features and functionality that are coming out or already out with RingCentral that a lot of you aren't using today. You know, a lot of you on the call, I see the names. I may have been working with you on your migration from your old phone system to what you're on with RingCentral today, or maybe it was Alex or Cameron or others on the call from the ATC side. But you know, in that first step of getting you from your old legacy phone system, you know, you're kind of in first gear, right? We just need to get off that on-premise system or that expensive system. We want something more feature rich. We want to get onto RingCentral. Well, that was kind of first gear. So taking a look at RingSense and the rooms and webinar and the SMS updates that are coming and the push to talk, if that applies to your business, it's kind of getting you into second and third gear. And then, you know, I mentioned it before, it's a two-part series. So next month on the 16th, we'll be sending out invite and everything for you guys registration. But that's even that next step of customer experience and contact center with RingCentral. So we're super excited about that one as well. And again, I really just appreciate everybody's support and joining the webinar today. And if you were interested in anything you saw and you want to learn more, you want to do an actual demo, you want to see it in action and see what it can do for your business and be able to ask more questions live once you see it in action, then let us know. Either reach out to me, my contact information is here on the screen, or reach out to whoever your direct point of contact is at ATC, and we'll get you set up and show you some more on what it can do. But with that, Shannon, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you to see who won the random drawing for the Beats headphones.
All right, awesome. All right, drum roll, everybody, right? The Beats headset. Awesome, awesome. All right, so drum roll, winner is Tom C. So Tom C, congratulations. Congratulations on winning some Beats headphones, and I will get with the ATC team to get your contact information, so we'll send those out to you as soon as we get that info from them. Congratulations.
Congrats, Tom. But yeah,
job,
no, seriously, thanks everyone. Awesome. Have a great day, and hope to see you soon in an event or something. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah,